Hi! On the last video in this series, I promised you a look into the CB38, a very interesting looking bowhead by FLM. Now before we look into this, I want to share with you some thoughts that we have on an accessory that we have been using here for quite some time on Lensvid, which is holding right now this camera over my head. It's called the Photek TRI-X-2500, and this is what we're going to look at in this video. So as I mentioned, the product that we are going to look at today is called the Photek TRI-X-2500, and it is a heavy-duty horizontal extender for your tripod, which lets you shoot overhead shots with your DSLR more or less anywhere, as long as you have a tripod that can carry it. This type of product can be extremely useful for food photography and product photography, but also for getting shots from angles which are otherwise hard or even impossible with just a tripod. Photek is a Connecticut-based company which makes mostly different types of lighting and studio accessories such as umbrellas, softboxes, backgrounds, and a few other things. Although there are a number of manufacturers which makes horizontal extenders for your tripod, most of them are quite short compared to the TRI-X-2500, which is over 90 centimeters or 35 inches from side to side. When it comes to construction, we were actually surprised at just how well built this unit is. Almost the entire unit is made out of metal, and it's actually pretty heavy at 1.3 kilograms or 2.8 pounds, which is about the same weight as a light travel tripod. You will need this heavy duty build though if you're going to carry a DSLR with a pretty heavy lens looking downwards. On one side of the unit you have a base with two mounting holes, a 3/8/16 and a 1/4 inch 20. We highly recommend that you use a 3/8/16 whenever possible, as it can hold more weight and it is also more common on most tripods. We shall talk about just how we used it in a second. Above the base you have a locking knob which lets you move the base backwards and forwards. We actually recommend that you keep a bit of room in the back. In the front you have another knob that locks the second part of the unit, and you also have the head. Some of the other horizontal extenders on the market don't come with a head, but the TRI-X-2500 comes with a very nice and sturdy ball head with two 90-degree angle grooves and our favorite quick release system, the Manfrotto style RC2, which we use all the time for almost everything. Basically everything about this unit is very solid. There are just two things that we might have done differently. We would probably use more heavy-duty knobs. The ones that come with the unit are okay, but for such a robust unit we would definitely replace them with larger butterfly 1/4 inch 20 knobs, which is possible since you can actually screw the existing ones out. The second thing is the absence of a hook for counterweight at the end of the unit. Photek told us that they don't feel that this is necessary, but we actually think that it could be helpful at times with heavy cameras on the other side. You might be able to DIY a counterweight, but we have yet to try this solution ourselves. So let's talk about our experience using this unit. We use it mostly for shooting overhead food making for our new food channel, and it worked very well. After experimenting with the unit for some time, we did learn a few things that we would like to share with you. First, you will need a heavy-duty tripod, preferably with a weight or a sandbag under it. We used our old Studio Gitsu tripod and put a heavy weight under it to hold our rig. The second lesson we learned the hard way. Although you might think that the right way to use this accessory is to attach it to the head, it hasn't been our experience. When mounting a heavy DSLR, there is simply so much downward pressure at the end of the unit that no head that we used was able to overcome it. Our recommendation: remove the head and connect the unit directly to the base plate of your tripod. We would also suggest against using this unit fully extended, unless you are using a very light camera. It is long enough for most users even not fully extended, and you will apply less pressure this way if you are using a heavy camera setup. The unit is very sensitive to vibrations. The longer you open the pole, the more vibrations you will feel. Use the sturdiest tripod with a weight and be careful not to touch the tripod while using it. Also, after you turn the camera on or start shooting, give the camera a few seconds to ease out the vibrations. It is very advisable to work either tethered or wireless, which is just how we have been shooting using the great DSLR dashboard software and our camera external Wi-Fi unit. This way, you will not need to touch anything on the camera. From our experience, the TRI-X-2500 can hold a pretty heavy camera lens combo. We used a D7100 with a pretty heavy 105mm macro lens, which is about 1.5 kg setup, and it was able to hold it well. We will probably not use much more than that and not fully open, but for most relevant use cases that we can think of, it will not really be necessary anyway. We are going to do a separate review on a tripod which has a built-in horizontal bar, and although these types of contraptions can be useful in some situations, the TRI-X-2500 is a much more professional tool that goes much longer, carry more weight, and can connect to a much taller and sturdier tripod. Overall, if you understand the limitations of the unit, you can use it very effectively, just like we did for overhead shots and videos. If you have watched our video on building a DIY overhead camera rig, you know that we have been looking for different options, and this one is definitely cheaper and more portable, although maybe not as robust, and it does have a large footprint due to the need for a large tripod. Finally, it's worth mentioning that you might be able to achieve similar results with a C-stand and an arm with something like the Manfrotto 155 RC double ball joint head at the end, but if you already have a studio tripod and don't have a C-stand with an arm, the TRI-X-2500 is going to be much cheaper. We are hoping to be able to test a C-stand option in the future though, so let's sum things up. For anybody who is shooting food photography products or just any sort of top-down shots either in a studio or outdoors, the TRI-X-2500 is, at least in our opinion, almost a must. Yes, you can find other ways of shooting these things, but the TRI-X-2500 gives you a lot more freedom because it goes anywhere with your tripod, it is long and has a great reach. It can also carry a full DSLR without any issues, especially if you give a tripod enough support and not open and pull all the way out. To be honest, there is very little not to like about this unit if you know how to work with it. A hook at the end could have been nice and maybe a sturdier knobs, but otherwise it is well built, functions nicely, and provides a very important tool for photographers who needs it. Finally, it's actually not that expensive. At just under $80, this product, at least in our opinion, is a great bang for the buck. So if you need it and read our list of limitations and are okay with them, go get one. So this was our look at the Photek TRI-X-2500, very useful accessory as we have shown you. You can read the full review on lensvid.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On the next review, we're going to look at the CB38 as promised. See you next time.